What are some easy ways to get more butts and seats at your live in-person events? What kind of marketing levers can you pull to get more attendees? How can you sell more of your high-ticket offers at your events? Today, in this very special first episode ever of the Marketing Podcast Party, my special guest and I will reveal the answers. Cue the music. Yeah. Welcome to the Marketing Podcast Party, the only marketing podcast where you and I party together while discovering big, bold, and wildly successful marketing ideas that can transform your business. I'm your host, Daniel Din. Let's get this party started. In unison. Yeah, let's go. Oh man, I'm getting dizzy. How do they do it? I'm getting dizzy. First episode ever. And now I'm dizzy. All right, get my bearings back. How do they do that? Well,
I don't know. It was impressive. All right.
Hey, we'll explain that one here in a minute. So welcome everyone to the first ever episode of the Marketing Podcast Party. For years, people have been telling me, Daniel Din, that I should start my own marketing podcast, and it's finally here. I've had the rare honor and privilege of helping over 20,000 of my students and clients grow their businesses. And through this podcast, I want to help you as well. And today I'm joined by a very special guest. Today's guest is someone who is very, very important in my life. That's because he helped me out in a huge time of need, and he's an amazing friend, an amazing person. You see, I was facing personal bankruptcy a couple years back because of a very, very, very unfortunate lawsuit. That is a story for another day, though. So maybe a future episode, we'll see. But long story short, the lawsuit was so bad that I was, facing personal bankruptcy. And Colin DeHaan was generous enough to bring me in as a marketing consultant and a sales rep for two of his most profitable businesses. And eventually I was honored with a position of partner inside of one of those businesses. Colin DeHaan has been transforming the home service industry for the past 9 years. He is the owner of an extremely successful roofing and gutter business in Michigan called One Way Exteriors. He is also the creator of the Home Service Giants and Gutter Launch coaching programs, which help business owners in the home service industry scale their businesses fast. Colin is an amazing father thanks to his amazing wife, Megan. And he has two amazing children and enjoys life, crushing it in business. He really plays it like a game, the way it's meant to be played. And he loves crushing life in the home as well. It's a huge honor for me to introduce my first guest ever on the Marketing Podcast Party, Colin DeHaan.
Thank you, Daniel.
Let's go.
Goodness, man, that was an intro. Holy cow.
Let's go.
Thank you for that, brother. That was huge. And you said some things that I don't always think about myself. So thank you for that, and grateful to have you in my life. That you weren't kidding. That spot was more than earned as a partner inside of Gutter Launch. You are an incredible friend and one of the most loyal human beings I've ever met. So I learn a lot from you every time we communicate, brother. So thank you.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you. But we're immensely, my wife, my family, we're immensely grateful for everything that you've done for us. And it's a great partnership. We've, specific to the topic of today's episode, we filled some butts and seats at multiple events together. I've been able to do some amazing things at events as well. And we're going to dive into some really cool tactics and numbers for everyone that's listening today on this inaugural. I said it right. I can speak English. Inaugural.
Nailed it.
Let's go. Bah, mic drop. I said inaugural the correct way. But Colin, since you're my very special first guest ever, I would like to start with your journey, what got you to everything where you're at today, that led you up to, doing these amazing coaching groups for people in the home service industry and doing really cool events as well. So what's kind of the journey that got you to where you're at today?
Yeah, well, my journey into entrepreneurship is pretty crazy. I wasn't like I never grew up an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur family or any of that stuff. Like my dad had started a car detailing business because he liked cleaning cars, and so but that failed miserably, made no money, and whatever. And that was even with his, I think I was 9 years old at the time, 9-year-old son doing a lot of the grunt work for him. Um,
Ah,
so that was like my one experience with entrepreneurship. So I went to college, I did the thing, I bought the lie that you got to go to college and get a good job and have health insurance and a 401k or a pension. And like, I bought all that lie and I went to school for 4 years to be a teacher and
a
realized
teacher.
a teacher. Yeah, I was going to be, my major was English and my minor was PE.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, so you can say inaugural pretty good then.
Yeah. We want to know the real reason why I chose English because it was the class I always got an A and I didn't have to try. So I was
Oh,
like, I really just wanted to be a PE teacher and
because you
coach
are
basketball
because
and
you
baseball.
already speak English,
Yeah,
right?
and I
So
already spoke English, right? I'm not like you where, I have 6 other languages I speak, but
not six.
uh, so I did that and then realized like I'm not cut out to be a school teacher. This ain't gonna work. I actually had another teacher tell me like, dude, don't do this. Like you will not like your life.
Mm-mm.
And so I got into sales, did that for a little bit. Um, got fired from an insurance job, got into home services, and I was selling building materials. And I was just like, man, there's a need for a gutter company in town. Like if I just answer my phone and show up, I'll make double. And that's what I did. And so started my entrepreneur journey. And what really like I would say catapulted my mindset or my thought processes was getting my first coaches. Like
Okay.
I had no idea how to like speed things up. And I had no idea that like podcasts were a thing. I had no idea that like listening to audiobooks or reading books was important. Like I just was figuring this thing out, right? And in a small town of 8,000 people, right? There's not a lot of people that give you good advice. And one of my buddies, he was like, dude, you got to listen to this podcast. And so I started
Okay.
listening to my mentor, Josh Latimer, his podcast, and the rest is history, right? It started elevating it. And Josh was a huge, I want to say like pusher of, dude, your home service thing, yes, it's your cash cow. Keep it, keep running it, keep growing it. But you need to build this info product. You need to build this mentorship program. You're called for bigger, greater things. And I believed him. And here we are. Right. So so that's
Whoa,
kind of
whoa,
how it
whoa,
went.
whoa, whoa,
And that's
whoa,
where I
whoa,
want
whoa.
to
I
share
got
out.
I got some just so everyone knows. So I've got crazy intro like stuff and I've got like music to play at the right moments. So this one, basically, your buddy, which who's an amazing individual. I love Josh Latimer. I love Ashley Latimer as well, but
Right.
they gave you the idea for hold up, hold up, a big money magnet alert. Let's go. They gave you the big idea
That's
that
right.
stack that cash, stack that money, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Awesome.
The big
Awesome.
idea. And that was it. Like, dude, you're the guy in the gutter industry. Everybody knows you. Everybody follows you, right? Like you've got the platform, run with it. And I was like, I never thought about it that way. So, um, yeah,
Yeah. So when like did what did Josh come up with that idea and kind of like lead you to that because you were already known amongst other people in the home service industry and in the gutter industry? Like, were you putting out content or like how were you already known and how were
yeah.
people respecting you?
Well, it happened because I literally started the first in like the first gutter installers page on Facebook. And so I just started this page and I was just like comment on stuff and everybody knew I owned the page. And there's just something with like being the owner of it that automatically gives you some sort of credibility.
Yeah.
And then my business started doing really well, and I started sharing some of those things in the page. And, just like anything, you'll have haters and you'll have people that are like, dude, teach me more, right? But yeah, that was it. So at that point, I was building my home service business, and Josh was my coach, and he was just hounding myself and my other good buddy Wesley Bloom, who were kind of like the top dogs in this group of four businesses, and we just fight each
Nice.
other every week to see who could one up each other. And he's like, you guys need to document this. You need to start videoing this. This is huge. Like video from where you're at now to the multi-millions, to the, whatever, to your first $1 million EBITDA year. Like document
Nice.
it all. And we didn't because we were like, we'll
Okay.
do it someday. We'll do it someday. And then I just like, yeah, I don't know. One day it just hit me and I was like, boom, let's jump off this cliff. Let's go. So, yeah.
Nice. And so how long have you been uh, running these coaching groups? Because now on social media, at least, like I see a lot of clips where like you're doing events. um I'm at a lot of those events as well. It's weird for me to talk about your story when I'm part of the story, but so you've been starting to do these events, but like what led up to that? Like how long have you been coaching other people in the home service industry, and how, like, when did you do your first event? Like
Yeah.
how did everything lead up to that? Because today's topic is all about getting those butts in seats. The promise specifically, we're going to talk about getting as little as 10, 20, 30, 40 people to an event, and then as much as 7,400. What? How are we going to share that?
Oh,
Don't worry,
right.
don't worry, we're going to get there as well.
Yeah. Um, I forgot what the question was, Daniel. Sorry, I got distracted
Let
by
so how
7,400 people.
yeah, I broke the number one rule of podcasting, and so I gotta get all the mistakes out in the beginning. The number one rule of podcasting is ask one question at a time, because if you ask somebody two or three, they're gonna forget all three. So the question is the coaching, like how long were you coaching until you finally decided to do your first event?
Yeah. I did 1 year of coaching with Automate Grow Sell, so
Okay.
the Conquer program, and then I started our Gutter Launch program, and I did that. Well, let's see, Daniel, you've been with us for a year and a half.
Hmm.
Okay, and so you came in like 6 months in. So we started our program 2 years ago. Then, yeah, 2 years ago, and our first event was a year ago. A year
Okay.
ago, at the day before GutterCon.
Yeah,
So
this was before I was a partner. So
that was before
you,
your partner.
you and the team and Shelby, everybody planned that, and I was just like along for the ride.
Right. Yeah. So that was our first event, and we had like 46 attendees, I think, at that first one.
Nice.
And it was like last minute, threw it together, like let's go. Um, yeah, that was our first one. So a year in, I guess.
Okay, okay. And then when it comes to um like getting butts and seats at that first event, like you had short notice, but you still got 46 people. So like how? Like that, like how, like did you just have
Yeah.
that big of a following, that many people like knocking down your door saying like, please offer an event? Like how did that work?
Well, that one was unique. All right. So first we had GutterCon, which is like the gutter convention, right? All the vendors and everything are there, and we did it the day before. And
Mm,
we were able to offer as an add-on when people bought their GutterCon tickets. So
okay.
I was in with them, and so that was a lot of the ticket purchases, right? And it was super cheap. It was like $149 or something like that for one day. So that was one way we got them, but also at that time, my social medias kept going like, I say viral, but it's not really viral. I mean, I had a couple videos hit like, I think my biggest one is like 1.9 mil, right?
Whoa,
But
billion.
1.9
That's
million, yes.
that's big. That's big.
That was a big one. That was a big one. Um, and I had two of them go over a million, one on Instagram, one on TikTok. But I kept having like mini viral ones, a few
Yeah.
hundred thousand, and just organic. And so people were seeing that, and then we just started talking about the live event, and so that got more butts in seats as well. So that first one, honestly, like I feel like we got lucky. We didn't run a single ad for it. I mean, I might have posted about it a couple times in my gutter installers group, but I feel like we just got really lucky in that one. And so then like I had this false sense of security, like, oh, this is really easy. And then you came on as a partner and we learned how like, oh, yeah, this isn't as easy as just that first one getting 46 in like, oh, in a month of time, right? Like it was a rude awakening. So
Well, so I didn't help plan that event. I wasn't a partner yet, but I will say that you did something very, very smart. You did, and it was a golden tip, and I think it was kind of buried in there. Um, you leveraged a bigger event to fill seats at your event. You did it the day before, and you had a partnership, a very strategic partnership with that event owner, so that they could also help you fill the butts and seats at your event. And
yeah.
so, for me, that was gold because in fact, I've got music for that too. Yeah, there we go. Wow, wow, wow. That was gold. There we go. That was gold.
There you go. You got that chain.
Oh, which reminds. Okay, so that was gold. So that was gold because like you piggybacked off of an event, but that's significant. Like to be able to piggyback off of an event and then invite people from the outside and get 46 people at your first event. Like, oh my
It
gosh.
was. Yeah.
That's amazing. But I think it was that partnership. And I think a lot of people, when they're trying to fill butts and seats, they try to go it alone, and then they're not happy with their initial results for like their first couple of events because they didn't find strategic partners. They didn't maybe piggyback off of an event the day before. It reminds me of something that Peng Joon and Steve Larson did right before one of the funnel hacking lives. Now, I forget the name of the event, but I had multiple friends that went to a 1 day event, and it was probably called like offer offer day or something. I don't know. Like literally it may could have been called that. But
Right.
Peng Joon and Steven J. Larson, they put together this event 1 day before Funnel Hacking Live. I believe it was in Tennessee, could have been in Orlando. I didn't go to it, but I was there and I heard about it and everybody loved it. But they had, I think, hundreds of people, and they basically piggybacked off of this event that had thousands of people
Right.
that year. And so if you think about it, like that's if
Brilliant.
yeah, it's brilliant. If everybody's already going to be in the area, you know that most of them are going to be there the day before, and then you advertise that. It's like they already bought their plane ticket. You already know that 5,000 or whatever of your dream customers are going to be in the area. Why not piggyback off of somebody else's events? Especially if you're trying to get, your first 30 or 40 or 50 or 100 people in a room.
Right.
It's just smart
Exactly.
because it takes a lot of effort for people to go to a big event, pay for their plane ticket, all that, right?
Right. Well, that's a whole nother avenue. You know, there's RoofCon and GutterCon and MetalCon and all that. Like, what if they just did a week long expo? You
Yeah.
know, RoofCon is the first 2 days, and GutterCon's the next 2 days, and MetalCon's the last 2 days. Like, what if they did that? Like, they would simplify, and they'd all probably make a ton of money.
Huh. That would be, yeah. And then just some of the people are like, oh, yeah, I'm here for three events in a row.
That's right. Why wouldn't they be?
Yeah.
You
That makes
know,
a lot of
why,
sense.
why wouldn't you? If you're gonna fly, like RoofCon's usually in Dallas, why wouldn't you fly down to Dallas? Like I'm from Michigan, that's a flight, you know, and
Yeah.
you know as well as I, like you struggle with motion sickness. We don't love flying, right?
I
So
struggle so much with motion sickness that I was getting motion sickness doing this.
that's right. And you know, so I don't love flying at all. And but so if I could fly somewhere and be there for a whole week, goodness. So I mean that we can call that literally like secret number one, right, to getting butts and seats at event, piggyback combined with other events, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was gold. That was gold. We got to do that more. Like we're saying it out loud and like, well, we've done it and we just got to do it
Right.
more because it like just makes a lot of sense. Now I said that was gold and I pointed to my gold chain. I realized, Colin, that you and I coordinated. Okay. We coordinated, right?
Yeah.
We practiced our head nodding dance before. There's a purpose for today's party gear. What's the
Right.
purpose, Colin? What did you choose for us for
Yeah.
today's
So,
inaugural episode?
well, you know what? In the spirit of the party podcast, I was like, what's like the coolest party that I know of? And I thought, Night at the Roxbury, duh, right? And so Daniel and I was like, dude, Night at the Roxbury, let's do it. I got the hair. We can split it. I can pull that off. We can both buy suit coats to match. Like, let's go, right?
Let's go.
So, so that's where this came from. Night at the Roxbury. We're and it's the spirit of the party podcast, and we're
Party
teaching you how
hard.
to fill events and have parties at your events,
There
right?
you
So,
go.
what better way to do that than the ultimate party, the Night at the Roxbury?
Bam, 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 bam. Now I can't play that. I don't even. I don't ever. Oh yeah. What is love? What is love?
Yeah, what
Hadaway.
is
What is
love?
love? There we go.
Yeah.
I can't play that, but we can play. We'll play this one. This will be our. This will be our Night of the Roxbury music. You ready? You ready to dance? You ready?
Yeah.
I put a big. I'm trying to do the head nod. I'm trying to. Let's go. That was pretty good.
I
That
don't
was
know
pretty
how I
good.
do it. Like it hurts my neck, but they had to have like some special Hollywood training for that,
Why
right?
is that? Why does that make me dizzy?
I
What the
don't know.
heck?
Uh,
Oh, well, thanks for playing all out and dressing up for the first podcast party, the first
right.
marketing
Yeah,
podcast
I like
party.
this coat, man. I like it. I feel
Yeah,
like it
yeah,
needs a little tailoring, but I mean, it'll be good.
yeah, dude. Like, I got this one, so like, I was like, I'm specifically like, I'm gonna get one like just a suit coat that like fits because let's be honest, I gained a little bit of weight over the past couple of years. And so like I got one that fit, but I was like, it's like it's blue, it's cool. But then I got some spray and I was like,
Let's go.
I got some fabric spray and I was like, now I want to wear this at one of our events. Like this is cool. Like it doesn't
Right.
fit with like the home service industry type events, but at some event in the future,
Derek,
I'm
home
wearing this
service
part.
news, they know Night at the Roxbury. Let me tell you.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
they know. So, yeah, that's right.
Awesome. All right. So, um, the audience wants more secrets, more event secrets. Uh, let's go from okay, you did the first event, and then were you able to sell some high ticket stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
So at that event, I think we sold two, three,
Nice. Yeah.
two or three.
I think the net result. Yeah,
We
with two
sold three, but we got one rescinded. So,
one backed
uh,
out. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, one backed out. So, that's $65,000 thing. We had one paid full and one monthly. It was
Yeah.
actually that one was 7 grand a month for 12 months. So that was 84K, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
That's right.
so one paid 65K up front, one paid 7K a month for 12 months. So
Let's go.
this event that cost us, I don't know, I think like all in food and everything was like 4 grand or something like that. I don't even think it was that much, but yeah, 4 grand equaled whatever that is, 84 plus 65, so 150. Yeah,
Yeah, and we were in Orlando, so we didn't have to pay for me because I live in Florida.
that's
So
right.
you brought me on to help inside of your businesses and allowed me to stay in Florida while doing so. So thank you. But
Yeah,
whenever you come down to Florida for an event in Orlando or whatever, it's just for me it's like a 45-minute drive over.
right.
So that all worked out. So you saved on that. And then we were piggybacking off of the other person's event. And so yeah, so the ROI on that, if you do the math, I mean, let's be honest, we wanted to sell more, but now that you're
Right.
putting all the numbers out there, like we spent like 5,000 to like around 5,000 to make like 100,000
That's right.
or more. Yeah, a little bit more than that. That's like a 20x, right?
Big time. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think like doing these smaller intimate events like works so well for like closing high ticket sales?
Well, I think that it could work a lot better. So as you
You're
just
like, why didn't it
alluded
sell
to,
10? We
right?
only
Like,
sold 3.
yeah, right. Yeah, we should have sold 15, right? Like, but at that point our offer wasn't super great. It's nothing like it is today with Gutter Launch. So the offer today is significantly better. I mean, yeah, those people got lifetime access versus today it's just a monthly continually. But um, yeah, I think that the reason that what people have told me is I just wanted to come and make sure you were as advertised because it's
Mm.
really easy for somebody to get in front of a camera and pretend to be somebody different, and um, and then yeah, they're just totally different in person. And I think that has been a huge, probably one of my favorite things about
Yeah.
my social media presence is like, yeah, sometimes I can get animated and whatever else, and like my natural demeanor might come off as salesy, right?
Mhm.
Or whatever. It was my wife when we first got together. She's like, "You just flirt. Like, it's impossible for you to talk to a girl and not flirt." I was like, "That's how I talk to everybody, babe. I'm not flirting with dudes. I can promise you that, right?" And so like that's just how I talk. I just care a lot, and um I don't know. I just want people to be better. I want to give them my full attention when I'm talking to them, um and so having my content reflect that,
Yeah.
and then in person being able, it's just easy. It's not like I have to like turn a switch on or anything like that.
Right.
It's just really, really simple. And so that's a big thing. Like if you're trying to sell a high ticket thing at a live event, it's you just gotta be real throughout the whole story, right? Because it's
Yeah.
it's really hard to just be fake, right? Like let's be
Yeah.
honest, it's really really hard to be fake. And like Daniel, that's
Takes a
an point in
takes a
case.
lot of
Like
effort.
so many people in Brazil thought you were fake because you're a gringo, right? And or
Yeah.
whatever they called you, right? I just
Yeah,
made up a
gringo,
word.
yeah.
It was gringo. Okay, so they thought you were fake, and that you literally had to create the Daniel Den name because they
Yeah.
thought your other name was fake. Right? I mean, tell that story because
Yeah, that's a fun story. So my legal last name is not Den.
way to get that out in the very first episode of this podcast. Now everybody knows.
So the story was, so we started putting out all this social media content with my business partner down in Brazil about 10 years ago. And we were started crushing. It was like working really well. But we started getting the same comment almost every single day on my content. The comments in Portuguese basically said, "Why is this guy faking being American?" No, yeah, I know it sounds crazy. Like you're like, wait, what? What did you just say? No, they literally were saying in the comments, "Why is this guy faking being American?" Okay, so you have to understand. I'm fluent in Portuguese, but I still have an accent. Okay. So when I speak Portuguese, I speak it fluently, word for word, but I don't speak like any of them because I still have the American accent. And they were thinking that I was shooting all this content, trying to get attention by speaking Portuguese with a fake American accent because I'm such a unicorn that I'm sitting there speaking to them about marketing and sales in their language perfectly, but with an American accent. They had never seen anything like it. I was literally a unicorn to them. So much of a unicorn that they thought I was faking it. Plus, my last name is also a Portuguese name. It's a Spanish and it's a Portuguese last name. And so people saw my name, and that further emphasized to them that I was faking it because I had what appeared to them to be a Brazilian name. And so what happened is overnight, we have a discussion and then we go back and forth for 3 days and we come up with a new name for me, a persona for down in Brazil. And we're like, well, if we call me Daniel Din, it's a unique name. Nobody has that name per se. You'll find some fake accounts out there now that say Daniel Din, but I'm the only real Daniel Din that I know of. And they won't think that you're Brazilian. They'll think that you're American. And so we did it, and then all of a sudden, overnight, the comments completely stopped, and they just accepted me, and they thought I was the coolest guy in the world.
Right. It's all positioning, right? And that's the same. So it probably made it easier because nothing changed,
Yeah.
right? Nothing changed. So then when they met you in person, it was, oh, this is the same guy, right?
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
no like trying to prove to them that you are American, you're just fluent. Like, no, you just got to be. And that probably converted really, really well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that to me is a huge like benefactor to live events is getting to meet. Now, like FHL, you and I both like, we didn't meet at FHL. We met the second time at FHL, but
Yeah.
um, we both like FHL. You don't get to talk to Russell or really like half the people that go on stage, right?
Yeah.
You don't get to talk to them. And so like we can like fanboy over them and idolize them, if you will. Like whatever. Forget I said idolize, right? You can fanboy over them, but it's like you don't get to actually meet them,
You don't
right?
get
It's
that
just like
personal
watching
touch.
them on the screen, you
Yeah.
know? But these
Yeah.
small, intimate events, these sub 100 people events where you're in, a hotel conference room or like a ballroom or whatever, where you get to actually interact, it can
Yeah.
radically increase conversions.
Yeah. 100%. So I think what you're saying is most people on the internet, they are a little bit skeptical. There's a lot of people that fake things out there, but at a live event, you can't really fake it because I'm talking face to face with you. And so it builds that like factor, that trust factor. Mind blown on that tip, Colin. Mind blown. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It's
and
important. And just be you.
if somebody's considering buying your high ticket offer, but they've never actually like shook your hand, then there's this trust, this invisible barrier that has not been overcome, where
Right.
it's like, is this person real? Is this person faking it? And some people are gonna like just eventually get over it and then still buy your high ticket thing. But another percentage of those people, your dream customers, they're following you, they're watching your content, and then when they finally meet you in person and you're the same as how you are as you present yourself online, then they drop their guard and they say, this dude's the real deal. Colin's the real deal. I can trust him now. Where do I sign?
That's right.
Beautiful.
That's it. Yeah.
Love
I
it.
mean, those that don't know, I wear a cowboy hat, most of the time. And I'm from Michigan, right? People
I think you got to stick with this new look.
stick with this new look. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like this hair right here is tickling my forehead the whole time. I can't handle it. But that's a big thing. It's kind of like Daniel's, and we're getting off topic now, so this will be the last thing I say on it. But um, it's kind of like Daniel's. Like, you're a cowboy from Michigan, yeah, right. It's that thing. Like, yeah, okay, no, I'm not out wrangling cows all day, right? Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not roping cattle. Like, it ain't what I'm doing. I'm not roping, branding, all that fun stuff. I've done it,
Yeah.
but I'm not. Like, obviously, I run a roofing gutter business in Windows now, and then gutter launch, right? I'm not a living off the land cowboy, right?
Yeah. But you
But
do have the ranch, so
I do have a ranch,
you
and
do
I
have the
do
ranch.
and I do know how to ride a horse, and I do wear cowboy boots, and I do drive a pickup truck, and I will shake your hand and break it. right? Like,
Oh,
and I
well, not
will
mine.
open the door for your wife as
Not
well as
my.
mine.
You're not gonna break my hand. We're-
You know what? You do have a great handshake, and you go in and you get that angle just right. So you're right.
You know,
So
this me gaining weight has gotta stand for something. Like
right.
I've gained weight, but
You know,
it's muscle.
you're
It's muscle.
good. You're really good at rebounding in basketball. All right. So it's
Yeah.
really, really
Oh,
hard
snap.
to bang down low with you and keep you away from that hoop. So
I'm a scrapper, man. I trained jujitsu for 6 years, used to be a wrestler. I'm a scrapper. I'm a scrapper. And now that I lift weights as well, I literally feel like I'm a football player sometimes.
right.
And I wasn't allowed to play football. My mom never let me. That's why I wrestled. She let me wrestle, but she didn't let me play football.
Interesting. That's a unique. I feel like more concussions happen in wrestling than football, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's football's pretty dangerous. That and she studied like all that stuff and she was like I would say the same thing like it seems like wrestling would be just as bad as football and she's like nope, I've seen the studies. Football, you're not doing it. You're not messing up your head.
Right. Well,
Like
hopefully my wife's not listening to this because my boy really, really wants to play
oh
football.
oh
So
yeah
yeah,
yeah football
football, real
football is
football, not
foot
football, real football.
yeah. Well, I was trying to say the football that I was saying was that's the bad one. That's the dangerous one. Right. So soccer can get a little dangerous as well. So, but
Yeah.
anyway, but they're all safe. All of them are safe. All of these sports are extremely safe, especially football
There we go. There we go.
or football
Butts and seats. Let's get back
or
focused, Daniel. This
football.
is our specialty, getting off track, but let's get focused. Another great
That's
thing to
why we
do
work
on your
well
event.
together.
Get off track and people get to know you better. All right.
There you go. There you go. It's episode number 1. We can make some mistakes.
That's
No,
right.
but nobody listens to episode 1 except you, beautiful listener. Thank you.
That's right.
Uh, all right. So we partially fulfilled some of the secrets. But what
Right.
before we jump into my part of the secrets with getting thousands of butts and seats at some of our events that we did down in Brazil, I want to speak a little bit more about what you learned since we've done over the past 12 months. I think we've done about 6
6 or 7, something
smaller,
like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
Right.
So what have you learned out of those smaller events?
Well, I've learned that, oh man, as far as getting butts and seats, let's stay on track, not selling the high ticket thing, but getting the butts and seats.
Uh-huh.
Um, Facebook ads can get pricey doing this if you are just reliant on that.
Yeah.
Something that really stood out to me with this last event we tested was a voicemail bomb.
Mm.
And so we had scraped a list of all the gutter companies in the country and sent a voicemail bomb to them. Now, two things that stood out to me with that was A, how easy this was to do. It was incredibly easy. I don't remember the platform we used. Maybe you do, Daniel, but um,
Slybroadcast.com.
slybroadcast.com.
That's
Okay.
what it was.
So slybroadcast.com, I think we paid what, 7 cents a voicemail
I
or
think so. Yeah, right around
something
that.
really, really low like that. We'd also use SendJim. They cost a little bit more. But yeah, good friends of mine at SendJim.
And we only did business numbers,
We
right?
only did business numbers,
Yeah.
which that was the other thing that surprised me with like how easy it was to do. You literally just had to like check a box, like, yep, I have permission. And you get to send voicemails to all of these. But like for us, like how we justified it was all these numbers are literal public knowledge. Like
Yeah.
it's not like we're calling people's personal cell phones, right? These
Yeah.
are off of Google listings, right? So um
For legal purposes, by the way, speak to your attorney before uh,
that's
voice
right.
bombing a massive list of phone numbers.
Yes.
Because the permission that is the gray area. It's all about how is the permission granted? Like in what ways do you have permission to do a voice bomb? Quick explanation of what a voice bomb is. It's a voicemail that drops inside of the users voicemail box without actually ringing the phone. So if you've ever like miss, it appears that you missed a call because you have a voicemail, and you're like, I didn't miss a call from this number, but I have a voicemail from this person. It might have been a voice bomb.
Right. Yeah.
Lots of people in the real estate industry, I've spoken to people about this. Um, if you are a realtor, you get voice bombed all the time by all sorts of companies, because once again, the realtors, they have their public number out there, and that's kind of like one of the gray areas when it comes to the law, the legal loopholes. So once again, talk to your lawyer before uh, implementing that specific strategy. But with that being said, it did work extremely well for us, and I believe out of the 6,000 that we sent, we only got one person that was really upset with us.
Yeah, that was it. Like one person that was really upset, one person that wanted to play some weird game with us. But that was it. Like nobody else upset. And what really intrigued me about that is, I pump out a lot of content in the gutter space. And if you're in the gutter space, you probably have seen my stuff.
Mhm.
If you search that stuff on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube or whatever, right? But there were a lot of people that we voicemail bombed that had never heard of me, had never heard of any gutter industry events, even though there's multiples of them. And they were like, man, I've been wanting one of these for years. And I was like, are you literally living under a rock? Like, how do you not know about these? But
Yeah.
they're not on social media, right? They're just, running their business in their small town and that's it. And so it was like, oh my goodness, this whole running ads and thinking everybody's on social media. Absolutely not. And another bonus to this was I had like three or four different guys, I think three, call me. I've been in the industry for 40 years, son. I don't want to learn anything new. I'm going to retire in the next year or two. And I'm like, do you have a plan for your business when you retire? Nah, I'll probably sell it. We saved my number for what? When you want to sell it. How are you going to run it from Michigan? It's like, you just leave that to me. I'm interested in buying your 40-year-old gutter business. You
Nice.
holler at me when that time comes. Yes, sir. Right?
Yeah.
So now I have three opportunities to buy 40-year-old gutter businesses. You know how valuable 40 years of a presence is? Oh my goodness, it's insane. Um, so that blew my mind how many people had no idea who I was or that there were other gutter industry events. Like, it was like we're missing the boat big time by
Yeah.
not marketing to these other guys.
So 6,000 contacts. Um, we got a hold of them. Only one person got upset, which was a miracle.
He is
Uh,
from Jersey, so he doesn't count. So
yeah, New Jersey. Oh, everybody gets it. There you go.
yeah,
That everybody in New York and New Jersey get upset, right? That's
right.
just it's you have to, like, because that's part
Otherwise,
of.
you die. It's like survival of the fittest, right?
There you
Like you
go.
have
Yeah.
to be a total jerk to live there. Otherwise, yeah. So
Yeah, big cities will do that to you. Uh, Man, I always feel like I always just like walk around feeling stressed when I'm in a big city. It's just it does something to you. But anyway, now we're getting off topic again. Back to the 6,000 people we messaged. And you had a lot of really good conversations. About how many conversations would you say people texting you back and forth and people that you actually talked with on the phone from those 6,000 contact?
Daniel, I would bet I got 150, 200 messages or phone calls back. Like
Wow.
that's not even a 1% return on 6,000, but
Oh yeah, 1%. Yeah, it's a.
we didn't send out a full 6,000. We sent out like
Oh
4,000 total,
yeah,
right? Because a
yeah,
lot of
because
those
some of
got
them didn't hit the
declined, right?
inbox.
So 4,000, that's like a 0.2?
No, it's so 1% would be 40, right? Unless I'm thinking wrong. And then so
No. Yeah, you're right. 1% would be 40. So yeah, so
about
my
5%.
math isn't mathing. So yeah. Of 4,000, we had probably let's say 160 for even numbers, so
Okay.
4%, right?
4%.
So 4% response rate. That doesn't mean that that happened like that, but the amount of people that were like, "Hey, this is short notice, but keep me posted for the next one, please."
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot there. So like my
And
phone
we
is
sold
blowing up.
tickets. And we sold
And we
additional.
sold tickets. We sold a handful of tickets from
Yeah.
that. And y'all, we did this like the last week and a half, 2 weeks leading up to the event. So it wasn't like they had a ton of time to plan. It was like, hey, let's try this. It costs, what did we pay for 5,000 voicemail bombs? I think I paid 225.
Something like that. Yeah, it was
$225.
cheap. It was cheap.
So
Yeah.
cheap, so cheap.
Yeah.
So way cheaper than a day of ads or a couple days of ads. So um, yeah, it was awesome. I really liked that method. The only thing I would try to fix is um, I wouldn't have them respond to me because
Mm.
I'm pretty darn busy. But that was also a thing. Like people called me like, "Wait, is this actually Colin?" Yeah, it is. Like, holy crap, man! I watch all your content, and this is so cool. Like, I'm talking to a superhero. And I'm like, I'm just a gutter guy, man. Like,
Let's go.
uh, but they're like, "Oh, this is so crazy. Can I save your number?" Yeah, dude, go for it. Right? uh, you
But that's
know,
also one of the reasons why like only 1% out of I think like three or 3,500 or 4,000 like actually hit the inbox. Only one person got upset. Because the approach was not, hey, just wanted to let you know about this amazing event. So go to url.com and
right,
sign up. That was not the message.
right, right.
It was a lot more slick than that. Do you remember more or less what the message was?
It was like, hey, I saw that you do seamless gutters. I do too, up in Michigan, and um, I got a bunch of guys getting together down in Orlando here for like an in-person live mastermind. Right now we've got like 30 or 40 of us. Trying to get like 10, 15 more butts and seats for this thing, and we're just gonna spend a couple days implementing, going through and learning and solving all of each other's problems, and hopefully leave with radically changed businesses. So if this is something you're interested in, I'm sending this to a handful of people. So like my phone might blow up. So just shoot me a text and I gave my phone number and boom. Like, and I said it slow and confused. Like watch a lot of Jeremy Minor, so I'm trying to be cool like him.
Yeah.
And
And you were throwing well, like I remember you recorded it,
yeah.
and I was like,
Uh,
I was like, I was like, Colin, that was perfect. Can you just like throw in like two or three more ums?
yeah. Yeah. The goal was to sound like a freaking gutter guy, right?
Yeah.
Not sound like, hey, I got something to sell you when
Like
you come
nothing
down there.
polished, right? Because with certain marketing levers that we pull to get butts and seats, if you are too polished, then it's like, oh man, I don't know, I don't want to do that. Like,
Right.
right? But the appeal of events is what? And this is a big aha moment. So secret number, like we're probably at secret number 5 right now. The reason why that voice message worked so well was because one of the big drivers for when people do come to events is they are in search of community. They are in search of networking with other like-minded individuals because smart small business owners and entrepreneurs understand that trying to go it alone, siloed on your own little island is generally a bad idea in business because the
Right.
collaborators are winning at the top, right?
That's it. That's it.
100%.
Like I mean, that goes back to point number one of collaborating with other people within the industry, right?
Yeah.
Think about that for a second. Who is already doing well in the industry, and don't go and try and compete with them.
Yeah.
But that makes you a loser, right? When you crap talk somebody else's thing or whatever else, like that makes you a loser. No, collaborate and you will win way bigger, right? You'll win bigly. So,
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So, quick transition here. things are warming up. Things are getting really good. We've dropped a lot of golden nuggets. Things are about to get crazy. Let's go. Colin, for the last 10, 15 minutes of this inaugural podcast episode of the Marketing Podcast Party, now we're going to flip the script. You are going to interview me about, generally speaking, some quick tips about how to get the bigger numbers, which is a completely different strategy, by the way. That there's small, intimate events that work extremely well for some of your purposes, and sometimes you want to do the bigger events as well.
Right. That's right. So Danielle, I want to just first start and let's tell the audience what your events kind of looked like and how they played out. What did they start as? And obviously at the end you already dropped 7,400 people, right? So how did that start and where did it end and how long of a time span? I broke the rule. I asked six questions in one. So
That's all right. That's all right. I know where I want to start with this one. So the quick answer is our first big event that we ever did with our students down in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, was for 1,000 people. That was in 2017, Pedro Superti and I. And when people ask me, like, how did you do that? There's the tips to get more butts in seats, which is one thing, but then there's the real answer. So I'm going to share the real answer for how we got so many people at events, and then I'll share the additional tips. Okay. The real answer, I attribute it to what I call inevitability funnels. This is kind of how an inevitability funnel works. Okay. It's a funnel that you've created where every single day you are either breaking even or slightly profiting with a type of info product that helps your dream customer. And every single day you're acquiring, 5 to 10 new customers and helping them in a big way every single day. And that happens for years. Okay. Because what people want to buy from you is so inherently good and so helpful that there's word of mouth going on. There's people knocking down your door saying, hey, when's the next course coming out? Or when's the next challenge coming out? Or when's the next insert info product title name here coming out? When is that coming? I want the next thing. You've helped me so much. And we got to the point where for years we were breaking even through ads or slightly profiting while getting 5 to 10 new customers every single day. And if you do the math on that, Colin, 5 to 10 customers per day compounded over months and then years. Well, every single month, that's 150 to 300 new customers every single month. New customers.
that's a ton.
That are loving what you are putting out. And then month 2, that's, compounded and then compound, and then month after month, and then after a year, I mean, like that is 15.
That's 3,600.
Yeah, as much as 3,600, and then over years, it starts to get ridiculous. Okay, and then at some point, with all the ridiculousness going on, and with all the people loving your content, and Pedro Superti and I got to the point where across our social media channels, we had over 2 million followers. Not all on the same platform, but across all social media channels, we had over 2 million followers. It gets to the point where at some point people are saying, are you guys going to do an event anytime soon? And when people are starting to ask you when you're finally going to do an event, it's a really good time to start doing an event. And so that's why in 2017, after already having helped thousands of students, we were able to put our first big event together for 1,000 of our dream customers. And it was wild. It was wild, man.
Is that where you had the cool coat? Was it that event?
No. That was for the big one. That was for the 7,400 one. The one where, so it was 1,000 people in 2017. 2018 was right around 2,500. And then 2019 was around 4,500. And then 2020, right before the pandemic, we had 7,400 butts in seats in the Sao Paulo Expo Center. And that's when I got up on stage and rapped in Portuguese. I got 3 standing ovations in that one speech. I can teach that another day. We don't want to get too off topic. I got 3 standing ovations during that speech. I was like, this is cool, right?
Right.
So, but the real reason why we got so many butts in seats, I attribute it to inevitability funnels. And so when it comes to your dream customers, they have needs. And when you can over deliver and when you can serve them at such a high level that you're getting that word of mouth advertising, and when you're profiting every single day or breaking even, acquiring new customers, it compounds over time and it allows you to serve the world in a big way and impact the world in a big way. And it is one of the best feelings in the world.
That's right. That's
So
awesome.
that
Okay.
is,
So radically grew that from 17 till 20 in a 3-year time frame or 4 years, right?
yeah,
Went from 1,000 to 7,400. So it can go that fast.
yeah,
That's
yep.
pretty amazing. So what was probably your biggest, what would you say was your biggest um ticket buying, um how would you get people to buy tickets? What was it, running
Oh,
ads?
yeah,
Was
yeah,
it like
yeah.
what was your biggest generator for getting people there?
So, so one of the biggest things that we did, so and I suggest this to anybody that, like, whether it's 50 people finally at one of your events, or 100 or 150, uh, you can even start with 20. Create and pay for somebody to come out and help you create a documentary about the event. Okay.
Oh,
So, I don't think I ever shared this secret with you, Colin.
you
And
didn't?
now
No.
that I'm saying this out loud, you might get upset at me that I didn't
Yeah,
tell
I'm
you
like,
this
what the
secret
heck?
early. So, when we sold the 1,000 tickets, in 2017, we actually paid 2 different companies to come out and do documentaries for the event in 2017. 2 of them. Okay. Because Pedro, he is a branding mastermind, and he knew that even though it was very expensive to pay 2 different companies to get all the footage together and to create 2 documentaries about the 2017 event, he knew that it would pay off in dividends. And he was right. We used for the 2018 event, we used the documentary from the 2017 event to sell. It was like the main video sales letter was not, hey, here's everything that's going to happen at the event. The main video sales letter was, here's what happened at 2017's event.
That's gold.
And it was like a 15-minute story that just captivated everybody that landed on that page. And so they're watching this, and through the storytelling, through the attendees, and through everything that happened on stage, and just really cool visuals, people were like, oh man, I want to go to this event. And they hadn't even read what was going to be at the 2018 event, because all that was in the text
That
under.
makes so much sense, man. Like you say that, and now I think, and like Russell does that with FHL, and like I see a lot of that with these other events, and we even like accidentally did that. I did a film sitting right here for Gutter Secrets Live, where we have kind of like a highlight reel of the event, but I'm kind of like backlog talking it all about my favorite parts of the event and why it means so much to me and why we keep it small
Yeah.
and whatever else. Um, and I've had countless people say, that video, like it just came off as really genuine. And now that I'm here, I understand why. Like it is cool, right? So
Yeah.
that's baller. That makes a ton of sense, and it creates FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to, like, when you were at FHL, dude, I literally almost unfollowed you because I was sick of your stories, and I was just like so jealous. I was like, dang it, I wish I was there. Like, um, So yeah, I mean that's a real thing. FOMO is real. It exists, and when you do that as a sales tactic,
You're saying that when I went to oh, I see. You're talking about from when I went to FHL 2 months ago or a month
yeah,
and a half
two
ago.
months ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I get so confused with the timelines. A month ago when I was at FHL, yeah, I kept on posting, Colin, you can't unfollow me. We're business partners.
Oh,
Because,
you
yeah,
can do a temporary block, right?
I told you to come. My goodness.
You didn't
Anyway,
tell me. You begged me to come, and I just kept
so
saying no. So
So you're pointing out something massive, massive right now. So what the documentary does is it appeals to um our desire to spend our extra time and disposable income on experiences. I always say we are in the age of experience. And if you look at the history of how everything happened through time, there was like the agricultural revolution and then like the industrial age and everything. And when we hit the industrial age, finally people started to be able to collect and buy a lot of stuff for cheaper. Like it did a massive amount of wealth building for the world, the industrial age. But now that we all have so much stuff that we're, um, filling up storage units and donating everything to charity, um, what happens is people realize that stuff is stuff and it's not as good as experiences. And so, in the age of experience, what people crave more than more stuff is a great experience. And when you can show through your documentary that you are providing them a great experience that can also help with their pain points, then they're all in. They're like,
right.
this is perfect. I
Yep.
I needed a business vacation anyway, right? Quote
Right.
unquote.
Right. Well, and let's be real. Most entrepreneurs are extroverts. They thrive. Maybe not extroverts, but they thrive off of other people's energy in the room, right?
Yeah.
Which I would classify as an extrovert, right? So when you get in a room with a bunch of other people, it energizes you to go home and climb the freaking mountain and ring the bell, right? Like
Yep.
that's what it does. So there's a
100%.
reason that, yeah, people leave events ready to conquer. Very few do. They get home and they fall back into their ways, but
Yeah. Back in
yeah.
the same patterns.
Right. Oh, oh, excuse me.
Incredible. So that's one of the biggest things is that documentary, selling
Right.
the experience. If you're not selling an experience through your video sales letter or whatever it is, or the documentary, if you were smart enough to have done a documentary based off of a smaller event, if you're not doing that, you're missing out on sales because it's one of the best things you can do for the landing page when you go to sell the tickets.
Right.
And then there's four other tips that I'll quickly go through. Because people have asked me this so many times. They're like, how did you get so many butts and seats? Okay. So the four additional bonus tips, okay, on top of inevitability funnels and then the documentaries and then selling the experience, the four additional tips are one, price anchoring. Okay. So instead of having one ticket option or two ticket options, at the events where we sold thousands of tickets, we actually had four ticket options.
Oh.
We had at the top level, it was only for 30 people. We had the most expensive ticket. We called it Red X. Okay. Then the level right below that, where we had like a couple hundred tickets, it was the black ticket, right? And then below that we had the gold ticket, and then below that we had the cheapest ticket was the silver ticket, right? And so if you were a cheapo that or just broke or like but you knew you needed to be in the room, then you got the silver ticket. But if you are on the other end of the spectrum, if you're the type of person that always buys based off of status, then you were buying the red X. Or if you couldn't afford the red X, you were buying the black because the black ticket also had a good amount of prestige when it came to it. And then if you wanted bonus stuff on and not being the cheapest, then you were getting the gold, which was
Yeah.
kind of
So
like
do you remember like what were the ticket sales? Was it like 60% silver, and then like what was it? Do you
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah, I do. I'd say so because we did this at multiple events, the red X, the black, and the gold and the silver. So generally speaking, the breakdown, it seemed like it was about half would buy the silver. And it was about 35% to 40% that would buy the gold. Okay, 50, 40. Black was about 9% of the people, and then red X was
And
like
so you'd
one.
always sell out red and black, always. Or was there no
Um,
way of selling out?
I remember us not selling out red X one year. Um, but it didn't matter because out of the 30 that like 20 people bought red X, and that was totally fine. Like
Right.
it was so much more expensive. It was literally down in Brazil. So $1,000 is a lot of money. And the black would be about $1,000. Um and then the silver was only like $200, right? And like for a lot of them that was still like pretty expensive, but the black was like 1,000, and then the red X was like $5,000, like literally like
Oh,
$5,000 to be able to have the lanyard that said red X, and then the special meeting with us, and like those people were just 100% paying for prestige,
right.
and that was a lot of money to those Brazilians, that Red X ticket.
That
If
is
I remember
awesome.
correctly, the ticket price for Red X was 25, 25. No, I remember it was 19,997 Brazilian reals, which at the time was about $5,000 for the Red X ticket. So to them, it felt like they were paying 20,000. Like
Right.
it's almost like to them that they felt like they were paying $20,000, even though they were actually in reality paying five. But that's kind of what it feels like to a Brazilian when they're paying a
Right.
Brazilian real. It kind of feels like paying a dollar, right?
Right.
So, so
Wow.
that there we go. That's one of the biggest tips is instead of having one ticket option, have four, because you're always going to get those people that want to buy prestige and want to buy the best. And it's a great way to help you pay for your event.
Right.
If you do the math on that, those 20 Red X sales, that was an extra $100,000 that paid for a very expensive event. So,
Right.
um, okay, part two. The other big tip for getting more butts and seats is to have lots of groups of ticket sales. And what I mean by that is like um timelines for when the prices go up. So instead of just having like an early bird pricing and then like standard pricing, which is what most people do, some people don't do that. They just have a standard price the whole time. That's a big mistake. So at least have the early bird and then the standard. But we literally figured out like the more groupings that we have, the better chances we have of selling more tickets. So
Okay.
we one of the years we did um the incognito pricing, like it only went out to like only people that were like our current customers knew about it, and we called it something like that, incognito pricing. And then we had early bird, and then we had early bird, and then we had normal pricing.
Right.
So there we go.
Right.
So that's another big tip right there. Because every single time that the prices goes up, it gives you it's another hook. It's another chance to tell your entire list and tell everybody on social media, hey, hurry up, the price is going up,
That's
right?
right.
And so the more you have, the better.
That's right.
Um, Tip number three is the sales page needs to be baller. We would pay some of the best designers that we knew in order to make the packaging of the page just look so appealing that they wanted to like I have this I have this weird image in my mind. Pedro Superti, when he saw that first presentation and when he got the first iPhone in his hand, he was so it was back in like I think it was 2007 that the iPhone 1
Something
launched.
like that.
Yeah. He would always expressed the fact that it was so beautiful that he would want to lick it. Now, I know that sounds super weird saying it out loud, but you have to remember, like the iPhone in 2007, it was like one of the most mind-blowing things people had ever seen.
That's right.
So I like to imagine when it comes to the sexiness factor of my sales page, a landing page that's so sexy and so desirable that people want to lick the page. I know it sounds weird. I know it sounds inappropriate, but the more people want to literally lick the page because it's so desirable, all the images and everything going on, and they just want it. They just want it, right? They want to push the button, they want to buy it as fast as possible before it disappears, right? The more you have that, and then of course the documentary on the sales page goes along with that, the better.
Right.
Okay. The last tip is literally if you have that landing page that converts, then it all comes down to hooks, 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 left jab, right jab, more hooks, and more hooks. What do we mean by that? Every single hook can be a hook. And so when you're putting out stuff on social media, every single post to try to get more people to go to the sales page for your event, every single post should not be, oh, go to the page about the event, go to the page about the event, go to the page about the event. Every single story, every single tip that you have to share, like use everything as a hook, use
Right.
everything as an excuse of go to the landing page and buy a ticket. Oh, it was my daughter's birthday today. So, guys, don't forget, since it was my daughter's birthday today, don't forget to go to the page and get your ticket to the next XYZ event. Like literally use everything as a hook possible because when it comes to getting butts and seats, you need a big amount of traffic going to that sales page. And if you know the sales page converts, then you're going to get more butts and seats because you're using everything under the sun as a hook to get people to go to the landing page.
Right. Daniel's famous lines to me, not famous lines, famous line is everything's a hook. Everything's a hook, Colin. Everything's a hook.
Yep.
And I literally have like a note in my phone of just different hooks that pop in my head all the time from Daniel's line. Everything's a hook. Oh, that's a hook. Write it down. Boom. So then when we're shooting content, I've got it. So
Yep. There you go. Perfect. Everything a hook. So, to summarize my tips, to if you're trying to get thousands, um, inevitability funnels, okay, then the documentaries, right, and then selling the experience. Those are the three first things. Okay. Then on top of that, we have the bonus 4 tips of price anchoring, so having more ticket options. Then we have different groups of ticket sales. So have the incognito sale, the early bird, the early bird, and then the normal pricing, or be creative and come up with 6 different groupings of ticket sales. And then number 6 or number 3, depending on how you're counting the bonus tips, is a super converting sales page. And then the last tip is the hooks, 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 left jab, right jab, more hooks and more hooks. And that's the 7 tips that I have for getting
go.
thousands of people in seats. So there we go.
Yeah.
All
Rock
right,
on.
Colin, final thoughts. This was a master class right here. I think this was great.
This was a lot of fun. This was great. I think there's a lot of good information on, some of our events are as small as like 8, 9 people, right? Where they come to our office up to that 50, and then you took us from 1,000 to $7,400. And I think there's a little bit in between, and I think it's got to be kind of a good mix of both of what we said. Even at like 500, having those different tiers and all those
Yeah,
different hooks, like all of your things still work at an event of 250 to 500, right?
yep,
Events are just they're tricky, right? Like there's certain thresholds, and that's for a different podcast, but different thresholds of difficulty. Once you get over 100 people, now it's not you and 6 people putting this event on anymore, right?
yeah,
So
it gets complicated.
right,
It does get complicated. We would plan for like 7 months for some of our events.
right,
It was a big ordeal. It was a big ordeal.
okay.
Colin, some people are going to watch this and they're going to want to get a hold of you specifically. You are a master coach to many individuals. What kind of call to
Master
action?
coach, I kind of like that. What is it in Halo back in the day, Master Chief or something like that? Like that's what it reminded me of. But
Chief
anyway,
of Chief Executive of Awesomeness.
that's
There
right.
you
My business cards now say Chief of Giving Bigly. That's what my
go.
cards
There you
say.
go.
Yeah.
And you got to win bigly. Is it give bigly or a win
This
bigly
one's a,
shirt?
this one's a Win Bigly shirt.
There
Yep.
you go. There you
So,
go.
yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, how do they get a hold of me? You can find me on Instagram, TikTok. If you DM me and say, "Hey, I heard you on the Party Podcast with Daniel," my social media guy will be like, "Hey, get on and reply to this person," and if we want to have a conversation, I'll give you my phone number or something like that. So that's the best way to get a hold of me. You can look up Colin DeHaan or Cowboy Colin. I'm not sure what I am on platforms anymore. Sam handles all that for me. So, but yes, that's the best way to get a hold of me. And you mentioned this party podcast, and I will 100% hop on a phone call with you.
Let's go. Amazing. Awesome, Colin. Thank you so much for being my first guest. This was
Thank you for letting me
absolutely.
be the inaugural first guest.
Let's
Like,
go.
what a pleasure. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Awesome. All right. Thank you for joining us in this episode of the Marketing Podcast Party. Please share this episode with your friends, family, and business partners. Also, I want to let you know that the party continues with your free copy of my new book, Ideas That Influence. I wrote the book and created an amazing box experience that comes with the book to help you with even more wildly successful marketing ideas. Head on over to bigideasbox.com to grab your copy. You'll get your copy for free. You just pay shipping and handling. Once again, that's bigideasbox.com for your free plus shipping copy of Ideas That Influence. I'm Daniel Zinn. This is the Marketing Podcast Party, and I'll see you in the next episode.